Alright, map 2 Hollywood. I don't know, this is probably one of the more balanced maps I would say for the two teams. Maybe slightly Runaway favored. I think any map that's flat or has like flatness where high ground is kind of bad or less advantageous, it's definitely Runaway favored just because I do think that Kaiser on the Reinhardt is a X factor. The fact that they have Shatter and Lunatic High opts not to is, I think, one of the biggest deciders in this series. Is like, when does Lunatic High want to run Reinhardt and is it correctly timed? Because you're kind of gimping yourself with the Winston. I mean, Miro plays it very well, and they execute around it very well, but eventually that Shatter does come out, and if you're not ready for it, it's kind of bad. So they're going to push this high ground. They have no 76, though. They're just kind of baiting for hooks, which I don't know if it's the play. Their comp needs that hook to hit, so I'm surprised they didn't just go lower. I think going upper was a mistake, because your only real kill potential is from that hook at the beginning anyway, because they're running a Zarya. They're trading here. I'm not sure who's winning. It's 3v3 still, so this is still skirmish mode. They do kill Bumper.
Actually had the grenade on himself, and who are you cleaning it up? So who are you crucial in that last?
So they ran offense with
right at the very end. Runaway tried to reposition on that high ground and take it back away from Lunatic High, but it didn't work. Who are you with the big plays to get things started on Hollywood? What a hero move by Who Are You.
They ran offense with no Lucio, which is interesting. It worked though, so it's good. Now the snowball comes in. Runaway doesn't have Earth Shatter yet. Miro has almost Primal Rage. But as long as Kaiser doesn't have Shatter, Lunatic High should be okay because they have Nano Blade. So as long as Nano Blade gets kills, which it looks like it is, there's no real way for them to lose. That was a really bad Graviton from Bumper, actually. Not sure why he threw it out there. I think he... I'm not going to make excuses for it. That was a pretty bad... And this is a really late death from Runner 2. They should have died on the cart. They got, again, this goes back to that staggering thing. They just got staggered really hard and the cart moved the entire time. So this is a lot of free space right now for Lunatic High. Like him dying late there is actually a pretty big deal. Why is this overlay still here? Eska trying to hit a pulse here. This next fight should be Runaway favored though, because they do have Shatter. As long as the Shatter doesn't like miss. Eska Cam Kaiser kills Toby. I'm not sure that. See, they kind of bail on Toby here. I mean, Eska misses a lot of his bullets and probably could have gotten that kill by himself. But him not getting that kill is pretty big. But at the same time, it looks like Kaiser did use Shatter in the background. I really wish that they would go third person more, or at least skybox cam more, because the team fights are really hard to follow. I have to kind of look at the top ults to see what's going on, but Cox did nano boost there and Kaiser did Shatter. But as long as the Shatter is there, I don't think Lunatic High can realistically win a fight. And now this next fight, they're running the same comp that they ran on part of Oasis, which is the Winston Diva. That's a good pulse bomb. Or not. He missed, hits the wall. That's a big problem actually. But they do have self-destruct, they do have Primal Rage. Miro gets a kill on Cox, and this fight should be decently favored for Runaway now. Although Zumba's in a decent position to make stuff work. Miro's on like a 3k rampage right now, I'm not sure how. But Miro and Who Are You are definitely carrying this fight super hard. I actually don't think that they should have won this at all. But they got a lot of value out of that Primal. But I question whether or not it was worth it to pop the Primal Rage. Because I do feel like Lunatic High right now is wasting ults for no reason. Like, there's never a scenario where they're going to have 6 people up, and they're burning ults with like 3 or 4 up each time, which isn't really that good if you're on offense. They got the cart like 3 or 4 feet, which I really don't think was worth. Yes, Lunatic High just wasted a lot. It looked like they were winning the fight for a second with the Dragon Blade and the Primal, but they were down numbers so much at the beginning just from Eska dying, and then I think Toby died. So I don't think it was worth it in Lunatic High's, or in retrospect anyway, for Lunatic High to have popped all that. So now Zumba switches to the Zarya, gets off of the Diva, but it's a little late. There's only 2 minutes left. It's not the biggest deal, again, because they're both running Tracer, so if Eska does get a kill or something, the fight can go either way. Good Nano Blade. Very good Nano Blade. Gets a 3K. 4K. Nice suit. And now Bumper has grab. So unless there's a huge mistake right now from Runaway, there shouldn't be any way for Lunatic to cap this. But again, Eska playing Tracer, it's a volatile hero. Like, you can come in with nothing and Pulse Bomb or hit a few headshots and get a kill and like just snowball off of it. As long as Eska doesn't die here, there's still a chance, I guess. And Miro is pretty close to the Primal, and Jaehong is also very close to Nano. But Bumper needs to hit a big grab here. But they don't really have the best heroes for follow-up anyway, so not sure what his plan is with this grab. So Bumper dies, actually. That's a big problem, because I'm pretty sure he was their win condition. Although, that's a big pin. So the good news is Kaiser hit that pin. The bad news is Bumper died. But it's not the worst, because Kaiser hits that pin, so it kind of retroactively makes up for Bumper dying. Because now they didn't even have to use the grab, but now they're in an even better spot to win unless a nano boosted Who Are You gets time to get Dragon Blade, because Dragon Blade will mess them up anyway, or it's been messing them up. But Bumper needs to hit a big grab, or at least like a 2 or 3, I guess. Sound barrier I do like the sound barrier here. They're initiating, but they don't have any offensive ults. Solo ults Jaehong, and now Who Are You gets Dragon Blade and kills Bumper immediately. Why go for the solo ult on Jaehong? So like, some heroes are very bad at ulting when they're inside of gravitons and stuff, but Ana's definitely not one of them. And even though they solo ulted Jaehong there, he still got the nano boost off. So I'm not sure why they would go for him of all heroes when you could solo graviton, I don't know, Miro? Like, Monkey gets completely destroyed by it, but now they're just kind of rolling. But this is a lot of staggered deaths from Runaway, and Runaway did just commit a lot. They popped Shatter, they popped Nano, they popped, I think they popped Dragon. That was a huge overcommitment from Runaway. Lunatic had to commit a lot too, don't get me wrong, but I think Runaway should have accepted they were going to lose that point. I think they tried way too hard to salvage that fight.
Such an inspiration on this team, but he does get them into lopsided team fight situations by being caught out of position on a fairly regular basis. Also has to be said, the rest of the team communication, it wasn't there. You didn't have to use the shatter.
So this is a very vanilla fight between the two teams. I'm surprised Miro's still on Winston. I still don't really like the Winston, especially for finishing a map. I think Winston's probably one of the worst heroes. This map is kind of like Route 66, and where I feel like you almost need Reinhardt to get through the map. Big reflected sleep dart, but doesn't do anything. They're making big individual plays though. They're getting a lot of ground here, and Eska's being very annoying. But Nano Boost and Sound Barrier about to come out for Runaway. Jaehong's dead. This fight should be over. Anytime Jaehong dies, you just kind of assume that Lunatic is gonna back out or lose the fight. That's pretty big. I think Who Are You should have suicided with him, maybe. Who Are You does need to get a Dragon Blade up right now, and if he doesn't get it up, it's going to be very bad. He's close, but he doesn't have it yet. And I think they want to nano boost him. So they do nano boost him 92, 93. So this is what I mean. A couple more seconds, and he has this Dragon Blade, and this fight's very different looking. Snipe pops at the end. Nano boost times out. Eska kills Haxel in the background somehow. That was actually really big, that difference between like 2 or 3 seconds of shuriken spam. So I think if he has a full duration nano blade, this fight's very different, and Bumper probably dies. But now Bumper has grab, air grab, Kobe, and they do clean up on the back of it. So that's pretty clutch for Bumper to have not died. But I would say that Runaway is probably just going to win this fight based on spawn position. Yeah, Miro jumps off the cart slightly too far, but I don't think there was any way that they were going to cap that regardless.
Alright, so into the end of the studio phase is where Runaway has to go now on their attack round.
That graviton from Bumper on second point I think was pretty game losing, or at least point losing, maybe not game losing. But it's one of those things where you question like why he did it and whether or not he could have done more with it. I mean, he definitely could have done more. It's just why? Whatever. Live your life, Bumper.
When Runner timed the sound barrier at the very end, it was before the Nano Boost and the Dragon Blade from Lunatic High came out. Could have saved that just a little bit longer and tried to counteract with both that and the Graviton Surge they were building up by Nano Boosting Bumper on.
But that said, I do think Diva's more value than the Zarya, at least on that second point, so it kind of counteracts the Reinhardt advantage. But I don't know how much Kaiser actually got done with the Reinhardt. He had a few shatters, but...
Gotta stay hydrated, man. That armor gets hot on the inside.
Only on Oasis, I hear. Okay.
Are they running this for real or no?
Excuse me. Oh, Hollywood too sometimes, though. Pretty warm there.
All right, so
This is a good comp. It's a strong comp. I'm surprised there's no Reinhardt. Or not Reinhardt, no Roadhog.
Runaway was saved by two things. Hacksaw with a big ultimate and the respawn.
I think this is one of those times where I'd rather the Roadhog over the Diva. Just because it's a lot of healing for Jaehong. If Jaehong gets dove, this composition kind of falls apart. But at the same time, it's a super beefy composition. And there's a lot of sustain, I guess, just in the way the heroes function between the defense matrix, the heal station, the Reinhardt shield, the bubbles. Like, killing things is very difficult against this lineup. But once you do get a kill, it does snowball quite hard. Like, one death on Jaehong is the difference between winning and losing. And they're running pretty normal Korean dive comp. As a lot of teams do. This is like, I mean, I'm going to call it the Korean dive comp. People probably, I don't know if it's definitely Korean, but NA teams don't usually favor the Diva on offense or in general. Or much less so than Koreans. So they know the Torbjorn's there, they have to deal with this Torb, they have a Diva, it's pretty good. But this positioning is pretty good. I think it's, I mean, it's definitely advantageous for Lunatic High, but the fact that there's a Genji on one side and not a Genji on the other is a little nerve-wracking, I think, for Jaehong, because Cox's pressure is going to be so minimal. Like, Cox realistically shouldn't even really take damage here. Unless he goes full in, but... So they push them into this room. Because, I mean, imagine if there was like a Roadhog here, or... I don't know. Something else? Oh my god. Jaehong gets Nano Boost so fast here, just from the fact that they're running 4 tanks. But that's a good Nano Boost. Get Zumba. Zumba cleans up. That fight looked a lot worse than it was. I think the gun took up the kill feed, and I thought they had gotten kills when it was just a gun kill. Toby getting a little sloppy here with his gun placement. Not sure if I like this spot. Probably not the play. Especially since the car blocks a lot of the line of sight. But whatever. Bumper switches to the Zarya, gets off of the... So they switch off their comp, actually. They used to go triple tank Genji with Reinhog Zarya instead of Winston, Tracer, Diva like they had before. So they just switched 3 heroes. That's pretty big. That's a good Graviton. They're playing very passive, though. I don't know why it went down like that. First of all, I think the gun's in an awful spot. Because he literally had the ult before the fight started. Like, I think he was at 95% on Toby, but I feel like Lunatic High is winning these fights in the most ridiculous ways. Like, they lose 3 or 4 people, and then their 2 or 3 people just wind up cleaning up. Look at Jaehong, man. He's just like in their spawn, doesn't care. But 2 or 3 people died, and that Nano Visor came out, and Nano Visor got like a 3k. And now who are you feeding to switch hero, I hope? I don't know why he would be all the way up there, unless he got hooked. Maybe if he got hooked, that's on him. So that's a really late death from Who Are You, actually. Now the gun's down, they have nothing. Miro has to hit a crazy shatter, or this fight's over. One goes down again. The death from Who Are You is actually crazy. Good Lucio boop to stop the charge. They're staggering their lives so well on Lunatic High, like they're delaying the point a lot. Although I wonder if this was planned, or how much of it's planned, because they are switching heroes very well in the interim. Like Zumba, or... Zumba almost has grab, but not really. He's only at 60. I mean, this is just like a really, really long, drawn-out fight that Lunatic High is just making work for them. They're not really accomplishing anything, but they are delaying the point, which is very good for them. But in terms of kills, this should be a runaway fight eventually. It's a matter of how long it takes, because it's never going to be 66 at this rate. But this is actually insane stall from Lunatic High. You don't really see this a lot on Hollywood. And they forced out the Graviton even. I don't think Bumper needed to pop that one either. But they delayed a lot of cart time. Zoom almost has grabbed. Miro's still on Winston. Jaehong. They're in an okay position. Who Are You did switch to the Genji off of the Diva. I think forcing got that Graviton was huge, because if they had the Graviton here, it would have been a big deal, but now Stitch switches to 76, because he doesn't have Grav, obviously. But Zumba should be able to just make a Graviton work here. If they can just get Jaehong in a good position to hit an Ana nuke. Alright, so he does Grav, and they get nothing. No one's there. I don't know how I feel about this fight. Like, where was the team there? And then he Boostio's late. That's really bad. Although Miro's getting a 3K in the background, and he's laying the cart, and he's getting out. That was way overcommitted from Lunatic High, though. They could have done all of that without the Graviton. They could have easily taken that exact same fight without the Graviton and done literally the exact same thing, and it would have been completely fine. But they didn't get any value out of that Grav. So now Haxel has Dragon Blade. Do they have Nano? No. Bumper's gonna have Primal. Sound Barrier's coming out. Big Shatter from Kaiser. Relax, puppy. But you see what I mean? Like, Kaiser's eventually gonna hit that Earth Shatter just because he's playing Reinhardt. I mean, that sounds dumb, but there's no Reinhardt in the enemy team, and unless there's like a God Bubble from Miro, then the fight's never gonna... Like, those fights should always go in Runaway's favor, as long as Kaiser doesn't beef. And now he's back to 40% just from swinging, which is insane. And that was the only real ults that they had to use, was the Dragon Blade and the Shatter. But the Shatter is like a guaranteed team fight anyway, so now they're in a really good spot. As long as Stitch doesn't die here or something, they can just attack Visor. They committed both tanks to him and didn't get him. That's huge. Like, while Miro's doing this, Kaiser's getting a 3 or a 4K in the background, but this is the strength of the Reinhardt comp on this point. It's just, you're on the ground, you fly around. Like, they committed both tanks to killing that 76, and they didn't even get him with them, so they just gave Kaiser a lot of room there to get another Shatter. And again, there's nothing to block the Shatter still. I don't know why Lunatic High doesn't switch now. I would have said they should have switched earlier, like on the last point, but Zumba switches back to the Zarya. There's a little bit of indecision here from Lunatic High, and it's kind of obvious, because now they're going to be fighting into Nano Blade and Earth Shatter, and realistically they don't have any counters to either, other than like a Sleep Dart, I guess. Miro pops Primal for no reason? Why is Miro Primaling? Right, so they're going to win this fight off the back of the Dragon Blade. I don't know if the Primal was needed there. They probably wanted the Primal to stall the cart, because now that they don't have Primal and they don't have Dragon Blade, they're putting a lot of faith on Jaehong, but Jaehong even doesn't have Nano yet. And Runaway did a really good job there of not using anything.
Lunatic High has to have a crazy hold right here because they have to somehow not get wiped by a Nano Blade from Haxel and Cox. And that means that Jaehong may have to have another spectacular Sleep Dart.
So Miro switches to Reinhardt at the very, very last second, and Eska's going to try to get this kill onto Cox. Misses a lot of shots. I mean, it's an Ana nuked Ana, so nothing you can really do about it, I think. Well played, well played. Cox made a huge play there, not dying. They committed a lot of resources trying to kill that Ana, and then I think in the background Kaiser hit another Shatter or something. I mean, but it was Nano Blade versus nothing, and well played though, well played. That was a close map though.
I mean, this is a very real concern now, because
like very close. I think if Lunatic High didn't fumble so hard in the streets with that Graviton, I don't know. You could tell that Zumba didn't really want to be on the Zarya, but then they told him to go back, and then Miro pops Primal Rage to stall the cart when there's a Nano Blade going off, or just a Dragon Blade going off. I don't know if they could have used the Winston ult to stall the cart more, but I understand why they would want the Reinhardt at the end there. I don't know. Their comp is just really awkward, and like it makes sense that Runaway was winning, I guess is what it's like how I would describe it.
And it was nearly a 6v5 when they engaged. So just one of those little things.
No, I almost deleted the VOD. whatever, man. Oh no, I didn't stop.